body. This is why I suggest you knit up a swatch a couple inches long of garter stitch in whatever you're using, and then kind of match it up to the head, you know, once it's knitted out a little bit, to kind of see how big it's going to be. So definitely knit up a little garter swatch to measure up against your doll's head before doing this. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing this simply because I don't need to. Okay, I think I said I was going to purl on this side. That was a complete lie. You're actually going to knit again. It makes it stretchy so that you can kind of form it to the doll's head, so it's not just one size. Okay, I would typically, I don't like increasing on the very last stitch. I don't know why, it just makes kind of a funky edge. I don't like it. So I knit one, and then I'm going to do an increase. I'm going to knit front and back to give it one increase on this side. Then knit all the way to the last two stitches and do the same at the other end. I'm going to increase the second to the last stitch and then knit again. So this will give it just a tiny little arc up. You might want to do another row of these, another knit row and then another knit row of this fringe before you increase. I'm just going ahead and showing you. Like I said, this gives a little bit of arc to the head. You could also, if you want to do a more subtle increase one stitch in the middle, and then it'll just be one increase instead of two increases like I did, like I'm doing here. Okay. I'm to the last two stitches. I'm going to knit the front, go around, knit the back, and then knit the last stitch. Then you turn around, and depending on how full you want the hair, you will either do another loop stitch row on this one, or you will do just another knitted row, depending on how thick you want the hair. I typically like the hair really thick at the bottom, and then kind of once I get towards the middle, then I'll alternate rows. I don't know why, that's just kind of how I like it. It seems to work really well with the density of the hair. Like right in here, I kind of start skipping stitches, and then right here, you're actually going to round the wig. What I mean by that is you're going to do a couple short rows. You can do loop stitches when you do a short row. I do sometimes and don't sometimes. Depends on how confusing you want it to be. Anyways, so I'm going to show you a short row. This is, what did I say, 16? 18. Okay, this is 18, not 16. So what I'm going to do is, for the short row, I'm actually going to knit to the last two stitches, switch around and knit again to the last two stitches to make my short row. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to actually knit 16 instead of the full 18. This just gives a little bit of curve to the skull of your wig so that it rounds instead of it just being a flat piece, which you can do that, but it's not going to lay as well against the doll's head if you do a simple just flat piece. I hope this is all making sense. Okay, now you see on the last three stitches, I'm going to knit that stitch. I'm going to slide this stitch, bring my yarn to the front, turn it, slip that stitch back over, and then I'm just going to knit again. I'm going to do the same thing, knit to the last two stitches. So that one was 14 that time. And do again, bring your yarn to the front, slide that stitch, bring it to the back, turn your work. And that happens sometimes in the last one, your needle will fall off. Slide that again, bring your yarn to the back. Now I'm going to go till there's 4 stitches left. And I'll do this until they're about, I think I'll do this for one more row. I'll keep going in 2s to where I go only 6. And then I will knit all the way around again. So let's see, we're going to go to the last 4 stitches this time. This is how I make my rounded skull. You can also do this, I know I said this one's garter stitch. You can also do stocking stitch, stockinette stitch, however you say it. And this is balsal yarn. So it's a little bit thicker, but it makes it real smooth on the inside, which that's fine if that's how you want to do it. This way it's just giving it a little bit of stretch so that whenever you're doing it on your head, you know, it'll be stretchy. Okay, back to what I was actually talking about. Okay, now I've got 4 stitches left over here. Bring my yarn to the front, slide, bring it to the back, turn my work around, slide, bring it to the back again. Once again, knit to the last 4 stitches. I will on the next row do the loop stitch again, just because you don't want too many spaces between when you do the loop stitch and when you don't, just because there will be a lot of spacing. The good thing about this method is, as I was showing you earlier with the rooted method, there's a bunch of gaps, and so where you can see the scalp color, which is fine because in, you know, a real scalp, if you pull apart the hair, you'll see your scalp. But on this one, it gives it more of a uniform color, so you'll have this complete color on the scalp as well, so you don't see spaces as easily. So in the areas where you skip the stitches, it's not as big of a deal. Now keep in mind that this is not for the bottom here. This is after you've worked all the way up to where the skull starts to get round right here, is when you want to do what I'm doing currently right here, because you want it to be able to wrap around the skull. Okay, we're back to the 4. We're going to do again the whole sliding thing. And this round I actually am going to do loop stitches. Like I said, this is completely up to how you want to do your hair. Alrighty. Tug. Wrap around your fingers. Pull through. Put on the other needle. Knit. Tug. And this time we're going to the last 6 stitches.